Derbyshire battled hard to try to restore parity on the penultimate day of their latest LV County Championship match with Sussex in Derby, but in the end they looked likely to be defeated for a fourth time in succession. A fantastic 179-run partnership between Chris Jordan and Michael Yardy had helped Sussex to 328 for 8 on the second day, and that gave them a good lead of 105 runs. Given that they'd scored those runs at such a rate, nearly 5 per over, there was bags of time for Sussex to bat on, and their game began this day brightly with Monty Panesar striking a couple of early lusty boundaries off Mark Footit, who was looking for one more wicket for his best ever figures. And he got it the moment he switched to around the wicket, Panesar falling into the trap by pulling to short fine leg, where John Clare clung on. The problem now for Derbyshire was that in at number 11 came Ed Joyce, who'd not been at the ground on the previous day for personal reasons. What a man he was to have coming in with the total on 341 for 9, and he didn't disappoint either as he got his head down in partnership with Yardy, who'd resumed his fabulous innings on 121. Both batsmen maintained the superb run rate with a host of expansive strokes. Yardy was back to his very best, and after 3/4 of an hour of play, he'd converted his 121 into a 150. He got there with yet another boundary, his 18th, from the 234th ball he'd faced. He had a good strike rate in an innings which some sides would have been proud of in the one-day arena. He also taken his side to a 5th batting bonus point. Yardy was at last out 2 balls later, losing his off-stump to Tim Grunewald on 153, leaving Joyce unbeaten on 25. Sussex were all out for 401, with Footit supplying career-best figures of 6 for 120 from 24 overs. That's 6 wickets, coming at a cost of 5 runs per over. Derbyshire were back out with a bat, trailing by 178 runs, and only 7 of those had been knocked off when Billy Godleman was LBW to James Anyon. The home supporters must have been fearing the worst. Each game this season, Derbyshire have matched their opponents only to lose their way with a shocking session or two. This match was prime for Sussex to grab a whole host of wickets early to have the game wrapped up by the end of the day. But both Wayne Madsen and Chesney Hughes, 2 men who enjoy batting with each other, had other ideas, even though Hughes was having to bat with a fractured finger. Still, he is a very big and strong lad. And he had to be both, with Jordan charging in and bowling with some serious speed. How he's enjoying his season with his new county with both bat and ball. 73 had been added by this pair in 24 overs when Madsen was completely foxed by Panesar and bowled for 32 at 80 for 2. This pitch has had pace, bounce and sometimes a lack of bounce, and now it is producing spin for Panesar too, and it was turning at pace. Bowlers sometimes love conditions such as this, while others struggle. There were a few wides and plenty of byes, and the wicket of Hughes, who on 32 failed to middle his shot off Steve Magoffin and fed Anyon a catch. He left with his side still in trouble on 101 for 3, and still 77 runs behind Sussex, who were searching for their second win of the campaign, having thrashed High Flyers Yorkshire in the first round of games. The next partnership was important, with the situation tailor-made for Shivnarine Chanderpaul, who was currently at the crease with Dan Redfern, who avoided his pair. Of course, Chanderpaul's wicket was a massive one, and momentarily Chris Nash thought he'd got him LBW. Either that or he was introducing some jazz hands into cricket. Chanderpaul would not have been too impressed by the mode of Redfern's dismissal in the first over after tea, as he flashed at and edged the ball from Anyon to depart for 24 at 134 for 4, 44 runs behind. By this stage, the top Derbyshire scorer was extras. This was rightly given as 4 byes, but Ben Brown would have needed go-gadget arms in order to get anywhere near the ball. Shortly after that moment, the umpires decided that the light was too bad to continue. Back on a short while later, and Derbyshire knew that they needed to bat out the day with no further losses. That wasn't to be, as with the score on 153, Ross Whiteley couldn't deal with the pace and bounce from Jordan as he edged to Joyce. It was certainly tough going on the kind of pitch you used to see a lot of years ago. It made for enthralling cricket, unless you were the batsman. Chanderpaul survived that, but he was soon on his way with a nervous-looking push to second slip off Magoffin. Chanderpaul was gone for 23 after more than 2.5 hours, and with it, most probably, went Derbyshire's hopes of avoiding defeat. It wasn't all about the pitch. Magoffin produced some reverse swing, well, plenty of it actually, too much for Clare to be given out first ball. Clare battled through, and this boundary off Nash finally took his side into the lead, but they were 6 down. Make that 7 before the close as Clare lobbed a catch to short leg off Panesar. It meant that this was just about over, bar the shouting. Richard Johnson and Tim Groeneval survived the last 10 minutes to see their side home on 189 for 7, but that gives them a lead of only 11 runs, and unless something remarkable happens from here, or the weather intervenes, they are heading for another heavy defeat, in spite of having moments again where they've been on top in this match.